It has occurred to me that a video has been made. I don't know how much it is about me, but I'll just show you the thumbnail I saw, and we'll go from there. So a few people in the chat mentioned it to me in the live stream, so thanks for doing that. But here is the thumbnail. An influencer crushed us. Apparently it was me. I don't, maybe they mentioned other people, I don't know, but hey, the thumbnail right there, right on the shoe. First off, that's not my shoe. I wouldn't wear those, I don't think. What are those? Hey, I'm just kidding. No, I don't look bad. I don't know, I just have shoes, it's not those. But the drama and what happened next. Utilien 8 Turbo Teardown. If you recall, one of the very first iterations of the Utilien 8, I referred to as, very politely, the worst e-rig of 2023. You know, I was very polite about it, right? And look, I bought it. Chat. I looked up e-rigs online. I saw a new one out. It looked good. I bought it. Dog shit. So I made a video, and like that's what I do, chat. I do that kind of shit all the time, right? Oh, something sucks. All right, let's let them know so they don't fucking buy it, right? Because if you buy it and it sucks, like what? I could have helped. All right, so look, so let's see what we got here, all right? So let's see what we got. I just look, let's see what we got here, right? Apparently I crushed him. All right. Okay.
My lawyer advised me not to do.
Whoa. All right, how's the volume? All right, I got it coming on my speakers, but should I put headphones in? I had that turned up. Was that loud? Hey,
this video, and I'm still gonna do it. Why this device? Kind of looks like this device.
Is that loud? Is that loud enough? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Okay. Look. They got lawyer advice on this?
It's almost double the cost. I'm going to tear apart the Utilien 8 Turbo, and I'm also going to tell you about some drama, some proprietary technology stuff, and some patent stuff. So you can kind of get into the nitty-gritty of why my lawyer was so...
Is the volume good? Nobody's confirmed. Yeah, we're good? Okay.
Reluctant about letting me do this. We're gonna go top-down view, and as I'm gonna take it apart, I'm gonna tell you about the components, and I'm gonna tell you about how we got crushed. All right, everyone. So we have the two units here.
So I just did a video on the new updated version of this. It's look that when you give him the feedback, that some of them are like, wait, it does suck. Let's listen to what he says because he might know because he's got a bunch of fucking videos on rigs, and he's not just saying they're all good. Like, hey.
So you're gonna get a bunch of heating technology information today, and while I take it apart, I'm gonna give you some fun.
It looks good, right?
Sadness and pain, happiness, all those things. Okay, the YouTube drama. All right. When we originally designed this unit, we did surveys, and we found that with devices, with the e-rigs, one of the pain points was the heating chamber, because in the devices at the time that used to be, because all of them were iterated and improved, so to say. But let's say the Puffco or the Focus V Carter 2s, the unit would be somewhere around 400, and the heating chamber would be around 100 to 120. So we're talking about 25% cost of the device. This is the size of the heating chamber as compared to the device. So you can say this is like 25% of the cost of that. So what we surveyed is that people have a pain point with that, and it's very universal because that's basically a very technology-heavy component. You can see it here. So this is for the Carter Sport. Had some patent issues, unfortunately.
Okay.
Some rivalry between these two companies. Sorry. So what happened is we thought we had this great idea, and all we needed to really focus on is making a heating chamber that is just not as, let's say, advanced. So when you need to replace it is much cheaper. We embarked on the first development on the Utility 8V1.
That's what some people want.
These were developed to not have a temperature sensor inside, and that makes the contraption much simpler. Carb cap contraption with the
like when you buy a new Puffco chamber, you're getting the whole thing, including the joystick, carb cap, everything to go with it. But you just needed a new dish on the inside. You know what I mean? Like that's the whole thing.
Inbuilt zirconia tool would then be separate, so you don't need to toss these. You would just toss this, and we thought that would give you a massive cost advantage, right? When you would replace it. So the interesting part was that what we did is we had, at that time in Germany where our engineers sit, there is really no concentrate segment or the concentrate industry in the legal world, so they couldn't do the testing. So we all relied on Canada. Some of it fell back on me. And we're not like super veterans. We're kind of like average, let's say, users. So I would like maybe at that point I would like maybe use concentrate once every 2 weeks. I would be more of a dry herb guy. Eventually when this came out, it was always tested with...
That's something I've been saying too. Like not everybody that's making and selling these devices are like, they're not the most seasoned dabbers. They don't have every dab setup imaginable. Which, I mean, if you're making dab devices, start getting them, like start looking into stuff, right? But some people, they take one fucking dab and they're too high. They can't do their work or whatever. You know what I mean? So it's like they don't always have the full opinion on what's going to make the best device, because for them, it might be as good as they need it to be.
One session at a time. And then comes the influencer within maybe like a month of launch or 2 weeks of launch. We see the influencer in the title.
I got it that quick? I had no idea I got it that quick. I just literally was casually browsing. I got it within weeks of it releasing, they said. I got it that quick? Unless it's somebody else. Hey.
The title of the video for the V1 was the worst e-rig of 2023. It crushed the feelings of the people, the engineers that were involved. In fact, because they would watch that channel, I'll name him in a bit, he's a good guy. Watch that channel, I don't want to name Cewpins, but
hey,
he's a great guy. We watched that channel, or they watched that channel to get a bunch of info, so they kind of looked up to him as a know-how person, and he hated it. Turns out he's obviously a veteran. He knows his stuff. He's an Uber veteran. So he would do like sessions back to back. So the original version, the device would do like one session, and then when you engage it in the second session, it wouldn't know that the heating chamber is at, let's say, already 120 degrees Celsius, 140 degrees Celsius as it's cooling down. So it would put the same energy in it, and it would run. It was supposed to go, let's say, to 230 degrees Celsius, or
hell yeah,
the equivalent of Fahrenheit. Rodrigo can put it on the screen. Sorry guys, I grew up in Europe. I said that last time.
He's saying that not all the devices from years ago had temperature sensors in them, so they didn't actively like read the temperature that the chamber was. Now you got an app that's telling you your chamber's whatever. So if you ran a session and your chamber was still cooling down from the previous one, and you double clicked it again or whatever to run another one, it didn't know it was already 300-400 degrees, so it would start heating it as if it were room temperature. So when I tested the first version of the device, I'm trying to cycle through the temperatures, right? You start low and work your way up. And when you have most of your hit in there, you're like, oh, let me run it again. And the next hit just fucking crushes it, obliterates it. You're like, what the fuck just happened, bro? I'm pretty sure that's exactly what happened to me.
So what would happen is the thing would just get too hot, and on your second and third session, it would just give you very, very, very smoky stuff. It wasn't nice. It wasn't, let's say, flavorful at all. And you can see within like 6 months back then, 6 to 8 months, I think, we launched the V2. So the V2 doesn't have that issue anymore, but we never got the reconsideration. Now I'm going to show you guys the new
They had to drop the V2. What do you say about a reconsideration? Do I have to have subtitles on? Is that going to help?
6 months back then, 6 to 8 months, I think, we launched the V2. So the V2 doesn't have that issue anymore, but we never got the reconsideration. Now I'm going to show you
I don't think I tried the V2.
new device. And what happened after that, I'm going to narrate it basically as I get into this, so you get to see what's inside. So we're going to take this. So what we also focused on is this fabric grip. We always thought it's amazing with the portable speakers. This was also
like a JBL.
pretty difficult to do because portable speakers, they do like hundreds of thousands of them. You need pretty high MOQ to do this, and this material has to be custom made, and it needs to be glued on a ball. That's why we had like 2 different colors, and you needed to have, let's say, you need to buy like I don't exactly know how much it was, but like hundreds of meters of like this material, and then
The fact that you could swap out the sleeves and have a bunch of colors or whatever. Hey, you did hear that part earlier though? He said the team watched me, like the engineer watched my channel already, was already subscribed, and then saw the device he designed pop up on my channel, and I didn't have anything nice to say. Could you imagine that from your perspective, chat? You watch the channel, you make a product, hoping one day I might try it, and you didn't know I already tried it, and I'm about to drop a video saying it's the fucking shittiest thing I've tried. Look, I felt a little bit bad. Look, it's real people that design these, right? You know, it's real. Look, it's real people, right? You know, I paid full price for it on the website. They shipped it to me, and I ripped it and was like, what the fuck is this, bro? So that's my story. But look, I do have to say, there's real people on the other end of stuff. So when you're leaving your hate comment, when you're leaving your, hey, fuck this guy. Hey, just know. It's a person sometimes. Look, hey. So I don't know.
put them individually, so we had a bunch of cloth left over, so to say we could have made Persian carpets or something like that. Yeah.
Persian carpets?
Stuff to stick on it so it doesn't come off and be robust, but it would be good in our opinion because it would obviously insulate heat, and at the same time you could always swap it for a new color.
Yes.
Once we got to that point. Now let's get to the device itself. I'm going to take the glass out. The glass is also a bit different. If you look at it, it's more intricate. There's more. Let me macro this one. You can see more holes in it. And the holes are designed so if you tilt it a bit, it's forgiving.
Let's go.
Because most people that we saw in the focus groups, you tilt it a little bit.
I've tried the newest version. I have a video on this.
You need a little bit of
the one they're showing.
And other smart design, for example, is the Puffco tilt. You can see that is tilted, all right? So the bubbles coming through the back. So as soon as you tilt it, it still works perfectly fine. This is a very, very smart design. We get into the heating chamber here. So in order to make the heating chamber replacement cheaper still, so we stuck onto that bandwagon. We wanted to go down to the absolute
This I do
minimum.
like.
So look at that.
I tested this new device, and this is one of my favorite things about it. You can just swap out the actual like ceramic in the chamber. You keep the metal housing even. Like, it is wild when you buy a new chamber. You're getting the whole new. You're getting the whole, like, your joystick could be fine. Everything else could be fine. I mean, you could need a replacement, but like this is just way cheaper. I think it's like half the price. For like $50 you get 2 of these or something. I saw that and I was like, if you're going through a lot of chambers, because some people do their shit differently than I do it. Some people are going through chambers, right? They like to rip glowies. They like to put some dirty shit in. Let's put some Piatella that I should be vaping with my flower. Let me put it in my bank. Some people are doing some wild shit with theirs. They might. And this gives you the fucking option to. You don't have to think about ruining your $100 fucking puff.
And the reason this is very difficult to do and it had to be developed.
It is interesting though.
About 2.5 to 3 years to get to the bottom of this. We can look at the Puffco Proxy Core version. I see the bucket is just bigger, which is very normal for the form factor and such. The part that makes it complicated are these wires coming out, because once you bring the connectors to the middle as well, you don't have.
Chat, we're getting a little educational shit here too, like a little insider on the E-Rig. Like, we're learning a little bit because they're breaking down more than just one thing. Like, this is low-key interesting on a couple levels. I'm not gonna lie.
The wires, so you need to take the connectors from the bottom. There's obviously you can't have another temperature sensor attached to it, because then again that would be something that would need to be wired down, and you can't have a wire because the user needs to be able to put it onto the device. So what happened is these corners had to be done they required a lot of work for the heating chamber to be robust enough to sit inside an E-Rig, and at the same time we need to house a temperature sensor equipment in the device. So you get to reuse it because the temperature sensor kind of doesn't break, and these are usually most of them are resistance based or they're infrared based. Infrared based is generally not as accurate. I think the Switch 2 has something like that, which we're gonna get into and we're gonna look at it. But most of the devices in all sorts of
they have them in the
thermodynamic
atomizer
applications, they work with different resistance bases. But whatever, the equipment had to be housed inside the unit, and that's why you can see the components are different.
and on this one they put it in the device.
And you can see that contraption. These are very proprietary contacts. They had to be done that way. There's really no other way to design them that we could, let's say, figure out, because the buckets can only be manufactured a very specific way. And I told you guys in the last video, a story time, about basically my story time this time is the influencer that crushed us. Story time last time was about rocket scientists doing these heating chambers for the industry. Like, you can't really go beyond rocket scientists.
Rocket science? I have talked to a few companies that make their device where they've had to consult fucking the rocket engineers, rocket scientists. Like they're that, I don't know why, but like they got to do some rocket appliances to see if they can figure out how to make these rigs give you bigger rips of dope, fatter honey oil rips. Right, boys? Get your hands off.
Once you develop this, you got to augment it with the other components so it works. That's where the technology is.
So this saying that they put the temperature sensor in the device itself. So you just swap out a little component of the atomizer, but it's getting read by the device. A lot of other ones, there's a temperature sensor, but it's in the atomizer that you replace.
Because this doesn't exist in this form at all anywhere. Whereas but most of these heating chambers, like these ones with the wires that come out, they're fairly common. And on top of that, there's three things actually in e-rigs that create vapor quality. So I'm gonna just put these aside.
Some of them have multiple
This is the
sensors.
part that basically breaks over time, and I can show you one that went through testing. You can see inside that there's a chip off. So this has been through testing and of course failed. It still operates, I think. I must also say these fall apart a little sooner than the fully assembled contraptions. A little sooner, it's not much, maybe like 15% or so. We don't have an exact percentage, but the fact of the matter is that the whole thing is assembled in one piece. So that's the drawback. But these, of course, you can afford to kind of just toss them out more frequently. I think these come at I think retail
makes sense.
It's like 22.5 or something like that. Whereas obviously a fully assembled unit, even the previous V8 is more expensive. V8 There's three things I told you about. First one, obviously, is the heating chamber. You need to get the heat profile down within a small band. It's not like 1 degree. It's just not that accurate yet. Regarding temperature level test, I have two devices here. We're gonna.
I need this shit, chat. Look, this is the shit that I need, chat. Hey, this right here. Hey, this shit right here. I might need one of these, bro. Hey, yo, I might need to get into this, bro. Cause we got some fancy equipment, but maybe the next level of testing involves some crazier shit. You know what I mean? Like, don't let the company tell you how it's doing. Let me show you in fucking 4K how it's doing. Like, hey, yo. Let's go.
Utility turbo, like we are assembling in the video, and I have the Puffco Peak Pro on the left side. And the reason I picked the Puffco Peak Pro is because it is the best in class. They have a very capable engineering team, which you can see from the device. I know a lot of you that are engineers or the consumer electronics experts, people that have a store or avid Redditors. You guys know this stuff very well. So they're a very good team. So I wanted to compare the Utility 8's like new technology, which is a swap side that didn't exist before, with the best in class in terms of heating chamber calibration. So you can see on the right side, it's set to 250, and the wall is set up at 270, 247, 248. So it's kind of pretty accurate within 5 degrees. So you can see the Puffco Peak Pro set at 255, goes all the way up to 251, 252. On the right side, we got the Utility Turbo set at 250. Here I got a bit of a better footage from the Puffco Peak Pro. It's a bit more steady. 265 is the setting, and you can see that it is kind of within 5-6 degrees accuracy. You see it on the
Okay.
right side as well. The Utility Turbo is a bit overshooting on 6 degrees. So again, within 6 degrees accurate. Now with all the, let's say, the test on being like not in a perfect condition, I would still say that potentially these devices are comparable. But you see on the right side, we got 268. So it's a couple of degrees further off from best of being in a tolerance of 5 degrees. And on the left side, the camera is not pointing to the right direction. So this is kind of like the test. Overall, I would say most people can't really tell the difference of 5 degrees difference, 10 degrees. I think the veterans can tell the difference. But 5 degrees difference, you can't. And we also don't know the exact room temperature. If we wanted to do this perfectly, we would like keep it right next to each other. But you
Another reason why I don't say, or excuse me, another reason why I say don't just listen to anybody's number. Try your own device out, because some of them, they're not exactly the same temperature that they say. And even if you have two identical devices, they can give you set them both to 500. One's 490, one's 505. You know what I mean? They could be slightly off, just based off of how it's designed. It's not like a perfect science to making them. So I always say try out different temperatures and work in some rips to find the best number instead of just having somebody tell you, because you might get a number and then be like, this actually isn't that good.
You can be somewhat accurate, somewhat confident that they're both within, I would say, 7 to 9 degrees accuracy. And I would say the Puffco Peak Pro potentially a couple of degrees more accurate, potentially. That's basically my observation from seeing it here, because I had more footage to go by. I just don't want to make this segment too long. If you like this type of temperature testing, please comment, because in the last one, I used these other type of temperature sensors that sense the temperature through touch and resistance. This one is more of a thermal camera. Thermal cameras are more advanced, harder to work with, as you can see. Of course, these two are not comparable because when they were recorded, they were not intended to be put next to each other. I just found it very useful here because we can say Puffco Peak Pro is the best. They do it the best. Let's see how the others compare to. Okay, it doesn't really matter if you're like 5 or 8 degrees off, because the vapor most of the time you can't even tell. And if you have the range, I mean, you just set it a bit lower, you get the lower range. It's not like you don't get it, but the accuracy shows how much, let's say, calibration went in it.
Airflow. Airflow is key, all right? And everybody has a different take, which takes us...
The thermal cameras are what they use to, like, that's more accurate than like a temperature gun. That's how you test without just putting dabs in it. That's how you test that every point of your chamber is the right temperature. You set it to 500 degrees. You want it to be 500 degrees everywhere that you want the concentrate to hit. Instead of like, if it was just in a few spots on the rig and in between that, there's colder spots where it's not the same temperature. You're not getting the best kind of hit if your concentrate is going through like a loop where the temperature's ramping up and down. So it is interesting to use that kind of stuff. So I think... I might need to get a little thermal camera action and see what we can see on stream, because I've used a number of devices where I'm like, it feels like it's hotter on one side of the chamber than the other, and the best way to tell that would be to use something like that, I think.
Airflow. Airflow is key, all right? And everybody has a different take, which takes us to the patent drama, all right? So I hope the folks, the wonderful folks at
Airflow,
Focus V, and the folks at Puffco don't mind. This is already public information. The joystick, which was a beloved when it was launched, and it was first launched by Puffco, which is a pretty, I think, wonderful system, because everybody loves their joystick on their devices. And it basically is comprised, if you look at it, of a metal rod with intake holes inside the silicone membrane. And this is going to be funny because I still remember the wordage from the patent application. The Puffco people are just very smart with all of that stuff, especially Mr. CEO Roger. He's like an uber connoisseur and opinion leader. I think his own social media account, go check it out, is pretty big and people love him. That's the system. And they
hey, where was to go check Cewpins out? Hey, I'm over here just crushing you guys. Check me out.
But the patent was granted like 2 years after the product came out, right? So while this was going on, they were granted, everybody and their mother in the space started implementing joysticks. Now, obviously, as we know with patents, if the way the system works mildly conflicts.
It does suck they use fucking AI pictures in here. Like, there's like clearly a lot of work that went into it, and then that shit just sticks out. I don't know how to explain it. I don't want to sit here and talk shit about it, but it's like, Do we really need that? We needed that in here? I don't know.
As lawyers would have to argue with each other. I think that the Switch 2, for example, has a system like a joystick, but it's not quite infringing on the wording that's in this patent. So everybody started getting out of the joystick world. Luckily, Nariman and Milad, obviously me, we like to think our own stuff through.
Okay.
So we had this other idea. We wanted to figure out our own stuff, so we got into dynamic vortex because we got a static vortex, somewhat of a static vortex. All right, I showed you guys the
static vortex
core, which does a static vortex. You can just see there's intake holes. They spin it, joystick model, and a lot of people just wiggle it. All right, and if we have people that are super experienced with the unit, you can chime in. But my take is that this is best when you tilt it, you push the concentrate towards the wall.
Very wrong. Oh. Very wrong. Oh.
And as you push it towards the wall that is heated and you flatten the concentrate, massage it against the heated wall, and the airflow hits it, the more airflow you have going over concentrate that is over the heating element, the more fluffier, an engineering term developed by...
Maybe I didn't understand the way he was wording it. I thought he was talking about hold it sideways or tilt it sideways. You don't need to do any tilting like that. But I have said, and I think I have a video on this coming out soon, your E-rig hit should start slow. You never want to give it your sharpest pull early on because that's when you have the most melted concentrate in your chamber. That's when you have the highest potential chance of wasting it, when you have a big puddle of melted shit in there that hasn't vaporized yet. Start slow so you're not pulling it into your device, and once you've vaped off a good portion of it, you can pull harder because you're not pulling as much melted wax over the surface. So you got to ease into it, start low, and then ramp your hit up over time. Like after, throughout the whole minute. Don't just start slow and 2 seconds later give it your sharpest pull, because that's not the best way to do it. But I think most devices that you're working with, ease into it, and even it works well with flower vapor. You kind of get a little heat to saturate inside the bowl, so that when you do pull it, you're gonna be pulling vapor instead of a little bit of air to get going. But
invented, I think, by Milad, at least that's what I've heard it first from. The better, people love that. We went in with the dynamic vortex, and the dynamic vortex, you can see the exit hole is one towards the middle. So you will see, if you have one, you'll see in the center. You'll see the concentrate being pushed because the center is not heated. The walls are.
Yeah.
So the center hole just pushes it down. And then we got this sideways hole is angled perfectly that as it's rotating, one, it keeps the concentrate as much in the bowl as possible, which you can't do with a static.
Right, in theory.
Or vortex, because the concentrate has more of a likelihood to splash out.
this is another thing that they mentioned earlier with the first rig, that it's good on paper, but somebody that dabs a bunch is going to have a problem with it. And I kind of don't love the cap for this reason. It's good if you're doing a few rips a day, you're not going to have an issue with it. But if you're doing like a dozen rips in a day, you're going to be like, my cap's not spinning as good.
So you need a bigger chamber, like an XL or something, to keep the concentrate in there, less of a reclaim. And the dynamics vortex just basically just moves over the heating element, pushes the concentrate over the heating element, and creates this optimal, what do you think is optimal airflow? So these are the components. And then you got the two carb caps, one of them. So these bulb rings are the core of the, let's say, work, because we basically sourced, I think, dozens and dozens of these, because they're pretty off the shelf. You can get them, but from where, which one rotates the best, which one is most resistant to, let's say, residue and function still. So all of those things we got to test. And then at the end, and this is why you get two, the key difference between the two. Unsealed, this one is sealed. So a sealed bulb ring rotates less, so it kind of loses energy faster due to friction. Okay. This one is a bit more open, so you get the side airflow. This one is a bit more closed. This one gets like thicker, fluffier vapor. This one has more airflow, and also you got two in case one of the bulb rings, let's say, skunked up. You don't have to.
They call the one with more airflow the flavor cap, and this is another thing I kind of disagree with them. I think if you're getting thicker vapor, if you're getting a denser pull and you're getting more of a cloud, you're tasting more of it, right? Hypothetically, if you're at the same temperature, everything else is the same, more vapor means more flavor, right? More air means you're diluting the vapor with air, which the air has less flavor, and then air can affect the flavor. So I don't. I think it should be just the airflow cap and the cloud cap or something like that. But they call it here the flavor cap too. It's just in the manual like that. I don't know. But like I don't know. So there's some of these things. This is what I try to help some of the companies understand. This is why I shoot it straight, because sometimes they're using the wrong terminology, or they're saying it wrong, or they're on their end they're thinking about it wrong. They don't have the right way to look at it. You know what I mean?
Clean it right away. But we also had to make sure these are very forgiving. Okay, so we still recommend clean it, but. So let's get the bottom off here. And with most electronics, you got some fancy, beautiful looking parts to cover up.
Ooh, peeled it right off.
I never knew it was so hard.
I don't know if I've seen this one getting broken down like that.
Am I like tripping here? Oh yeah. Oh my god. So I'm trying to get those out, but meanwhile,
There you go.
the way it works is once you do that, Mila told me it opens from the top, Nima. Don't mess that one up. It opens from the top. Okay, so good. So here we go. And you see him?
Damn.
Remember I told you in the previous video some electronics to put together in a way where you can't just disassemble it the same way. But luckily I had the engineer on top on stuff, so I asked him,
Wait.
can I open it somehow without breaking it?
See, this is something I haven't really done on some of my rigs. I have been thinking about, what if I just busted them open to see what they're doing inside of here? Like, I haven't done it, but it's a whole other world.
And he said, you gotta break only these two clasps. And he made it sound to be very simple. Seems like every time this thing breaks apart, I got an audience arriving. All these stories I tell. Oh, there. I think I
What's
see.
happening?
You gotta
They
break
can't
through them,
bust a
and
clasp?
then it will come out. Nima, did you listen to me? There we go. I got the first one. Somebody call me that. Oh, there it is. Man, he did say hammer though. That's what he did say. So, using a screwdriver to control the device is an alternative option. I wouldn't recommend it. Oh yeah, if I have the clasp, it comes out to the front. Now I know what he was saying. Here it is. If you break the clasp, okay.
Now we
Next time
get
you
it.
guys are like, Nima can't disassemble anything without it breaking apart. Not even his own unit.
You're right.
Exactly. You know that one thing you're at least right. Also, I gotta keep you guys entertained.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I got it though. He was right about the clasps.
Huh.
The first one, I did smash it, but obviously not enough. If I did that, it would have just come out. But clearly, Nemo not strong enough. All right,
Damn.
so here we go. We got the two screws here. All right. Now here's the cool part. We got the inside now. At the
Chat, bust it wide open. You see this shit?
bottom there, you see the number of magnets at the bottom? Right there. So when
Bunch
you
of
think about all the products that work with magnets, including this one, and that's how this happens so satisfactorily, all right? The military industrial complex uses these a lot, which makes sense, obviously. These are little tiny magnetic fields.
The words
Used
are
in
hard
so many
sometimes.
things. Let's get to the device.
Sometimes I'm recording a YouTube video and I like trying to say a word and I'm like, that is not it. And I just like lean over to Google and type it in. I'm like, oh, that's the word I was trying to say. And then I just fire it off like I knew it the whole time. I did know it the whole time, but you got the wrong one in your head sometimes. You're ending it wrong. You got the wrong suffix on there. You're like, I'm doing it wrong at the end. Something's wrong.
Obviously we haven't used them just yet. That's why I'm making these videos. So hopefully we have a lot of cool people, hopefully like yourself, salespeople, engineers, marketers, CEOs from the industry, and I already got a bunch of emails from some cool people telling me I should keep doing them because I actually wanted to just do one, but now I had fun. It's Friday, people are standing here. They're also not working.
Yeah.
We're being unproductive together. I simply smashed the buttons, but these are again off the shelf, just like I showed you last couple of videos with the other two devices. These are off the shelf. You got the LED, and then you got the button in the center. I think it's still, yeah, there you go. Guys, it works.
One works.
I'm gonna heat this thing, all right? At the end, okay? Some people wanted me to touch the heating element, so if
What?
it works till the end,
Touch
I'm gonna
it.
do that, all
Make
right?
sure it's
Let's
hot.
get deeper into the unit. And it turns out that a lot of you, actually, you guys stay around for a lot of the videos. Unbelievably high compared to our general, let's say, reviews and such, the best stuff. So kind of more like a bit more marketing stuff, you know? It's cool. Thanks for sticking around. Exactly. Thanks for sticking around. And as a reward,
We're doing it, chat.
I am going to try to not zap myself and get deeper into the unit. So we
are
have
doing it.
Utility 8, and then we published it, and then the influencer just discovered that issue, just crushed us, and all of us were like sad. People get together at my place. We do that sometimes as a kind of company thing, and then just be together, have some drinks, have some food, obviously test a million different devices.
I didn't get invited. Yo.
Right? And while we were sitting around the table, and this is sometime in 2023 when we launched it. Look at that. So guys, there's
Hey, let's all celebrate our product launch. Hey, let's celebrate the new device we dropped. Pull up YouTube, see what they're saying.
one board, there's two boards, there's another board. So these are storyboards, okay? Two storyboards. We saw how beautifully the core Proxy Core had done it. This is a more traditional way where you just have clasps where you mount them on top, and then you have either wires, they're more reliable, but there's also, let's say, more other types of contraptions, like little, let's say, they look like little flexible boards, like PlayStation controls have them. They're really cool, but these are a bit more reliable in these types of settings, right? Because the Utility 8 is also made to be very robust, and it has a massive battery compared to everything else, so it's kind of like built a little bit with a different ethos. Next thing was we're sitting around this table, and one of the guys was like started basically voicing his frustration with the Cewpins video and how it's unfair, it's fixed, but he didn't even look at the V2, and this is so horrible, and is upset. But I noticed that the energy is going around the table, and people are like, it's latching on to them.
Oh no! Oh no, dude! Oh no, dude! Chat, what? Hey, yeah, what was that? What was that? What do they call me? Hot vape guy. Hey, yeah, just call me hot vape guy. Yo, Chat, from now on, please refer to me specifically as hot vape guy. Oh yeah, dude, that's that really hot vape guy. He drops videos on vapes. And he lives in Florida, so it's really hot. Yo, look. Hey. See, this is what I mean about the AI. This is not what their rig looks like. This looks like a dumbass version of the rig. Like, what? This is the dopey version. This is the AI generated version, and it's that ain't what it looks like. But this is what people look like. Wait, this is them all sitting around. Wait, they all sat around with drinks. They only had one rig out, not one for everybody. All right, let's see it.
Energy is going around the table, and people are like, it's latching onto them, and there's this energy of, like, let's say, disapproval. And so I kind of disapproval of the influencers, the bearer of the news. So what happened is, in this very brief moment,
the bearer of the news. What kind of news was it? What kind of news was it? Hey, what kind of news did the hot vape guy bear? He was bearing it.
Of clarity. Look, what happened is, in this very brief moment of clarity. Look at that. So I gotta get this out without breaking it, hopefully. Oh, I think I can do it, and bam! This one, I think I can get this up on a part functionally.
That's how they hook you into the story.
Inside the metal. This metal is actually molded.
Open hook. We're getting open hooked right now, chat.
I kid you not, they did. I think it was Bentley front plate, just the front plate, and a piece of the dashboard.
We're getting open hooked right now.
Very intricate kind of molding of metal. Now this is not on that level, because that one was very beautifully finished as well. It was insanely beautiful. That's what they brought us. Usually they bring us the stuff that they're most proud of just to see. So that was really cool. And it was cool to see that car manufacturers also
Yeah.
use Chinese suppliers. Everybody's Chinese suppliers, right? Oh, back to the story. He was like, Nima, back to the story. All right, so
I'm interested. I want to know the story.
she's the defender of everyone's interest. All right, so in the moment of clarity, I said,
Easy.
Guys, like, honestly, we need to take stock of what we did. And that guy's just a messenger. We can't just shoot the messenger and be upset about someone who tells us we fucked up. You know, kind of just improve. And that's where it's like, okay, and who's gonna be best to tell us how to improve? I think that gentleman can be part of the solution. Just watch his videos, connect to him on the next one, send him the prototypes instead of the production unit, get his feedback, take it seriously. And yeah, that's what we started doing, and it resonated with people. In fact, right there, the energy changed around the table. It resonated
Easy.
with a bunch of people, especially the more senior ones right away latched onto that, which is wonderful. It's always delightful to see
Easy.
that you can be positive and that energy gets around. So that moment was when I think...
I've been telling a lot of these companies I genuinely want to use better devices. So I'll tell you what I think could make it better or how. As long as I've been streaming and testing out stuff, so I'll get stuff and I'll just email them after I try it. Then they don't have to take me serious. Most of them don't. But I usually have a ton of feedback. And especially when some of the companies ask me if I want to try their device. So a lot of them don't want the feedback. And those are the ones I super give it to because they need it the most. Some people just want you to plug and promote everything. They just want you to say everything's good. Hey, how you got a lot of followers? Will they buy this? And I'm like, I don't know. Does that suck? What is it? I have to use it before I can tell you if I promote it. The amount of people that reach out and they want me to promote something to you guys where I've never even used it before, I can't imagine if it's good or not, you know? It's a lot. And I'm like, well, I have no idea. Like, I don't have a number for you. I don't have a price for you. If you make a bad product, it doesn't matter how much money you have. I'm not going to tell people to get it if that's what you want. So I do give a lot of feedback. I test out a lot of devices. I use plenty of stuff on stream. But a good chunk of it, I've sent some of these companies lengthy emails that I didn't need to write. Some of them probably didn't even read them, but some of the companies were like, hey, thank you for all that feedback. It is very helpful. I'm gonna use that or forward it to the engineers or whatever. Because some of them actually do want to make a better device. They just have less resources than some other companies. They don't have 100-something people to test it out. Like, bro, if Puffco has a new fucking device or something, they have a new product they want to try or test. Like, the amount of people that work with their company that can secretly hit it without, telling the whole world about it. They got a lot of people that can test stuff out that actually dab. So the more people that are hitting your device before it comes out, the better your device will be when it comes out, because they're going to say, hey, this sucks, and this sucks. So I'm not just saying it sucks. I do say it sucks, right? But sometimes you need to hear that part so you can hear the next part. It sucks, but this is how to improve it. Maybe I can word it better. Maybe I can get better at how I word it, so that they're a little bit more open to the feedback. But like, I don't care. No, there's no rule set for this. I take a rip and it sucks, bro. I just wasted weed. What the fuck? That sucked. I put my own fucking personal dabs into this shit, and I take a dab and it fucking scorched it. That sucks. Right? So there's that aspect of it too.
And that energy gets around. So that moment was when I think we did something correctly, because at the end of the day, what matters is what's the end product, how well does it perform, who's going to be happy with it, it's going to become part of their routine, and we have the pleasure and the honor to be like, hey, we made like X tens of thousands of units of this and people are using it, and the name that was in our brain is something they call when they want to use it. So it's kind of like wonderful. So I'm gonna turn it on just now, just for fun of it, before I have to cut this open.
Bro, Frankenstein this, or tore it apart and showed us all the pieces. I guess Frankenstein you put together. He de-Frankenstein
I'm
this.
going to show you underneath. So yeah, and then,
This looking crazy.
And then that's what we did. So we got a bunch of consultants, important influencers in the sector, and we tell them what we do good, what we do bad. And obviously, I'm getting better at dabbing. Okay, I'm like
Easy.
almost like completely off of dry herb now, fully super dabbing.
Nice.
Now. So here we go. I'm gonna try to heat this up so we can have a laugh, guys. 10,000 likes. Wait, I gotta hold it.
Yeah, I meant to say
10,000
deconstruct.
likes.
my god, is it actually turning on?
Yeah, I'm gonna.
No way.
Right?
Put a dab in there.
it's heating.
Stop.
Although technically speaking, the Switch Go also kind of worked when it was all falling apart.
Hey, put a dab in there.
But
I'll hit it.
here you go.
I know how you can show it.
Oh.
I know how you can show it. I should get you a grime stick and it'll
Yeah, great idea. Guys, I'm gonna touch it, okay? I'm gonna touch it.
Don't do it.
No, that didn't work. I did manage to trick you guys with some clouds here. Anyway, it's hot, all right? It did actually also burn me. Get the macro lens on my finger.
It gets hot
For
at the
everyone
top
that
too.
got over 10,000 views. I'm gonna go for a heating element maybe one day, but after you give me.
He just
the
put his
10,000.
finger in?
Okay, after that, all right. We're gonna do a not a mortgage
a little bit
type of
wild.
thing where I get a loan against this. You guys first deposit the 10,000. Oh no. What's it?
I mean, I've done it, on accident. You're not thinking. Oh, that's the one I ripped.
Ah,
You try to unscrew it when it's
one
hot.
of the times I burned myself. Oh. Okay. It's 300, clearly 300 degrees right now. Okay, so I'm just not gonna touch that part right now. And technically I did burn myself. So here, one of the things we see here with the
Hey,
battery,
careful with the
and I'm gonna just
arm.
well, technically we're not gonna use that, so let me see if it's off.
All right, Chad. I don't know who needs to hear this, but if something's hot enough to do a dab, don't touch it. Hey, don't touch it. If it's hot enough to vaporize or concentrate actively, don't get your fingers away from there, dog. I don't know who needs to hear that. Hey,
Yeah, it's off. So, what we can see here with the battery, and that's why the utility we give it quite a bit of battery because, well, I forget to charge the battery a lot. So that was like, I told the engineers, I need a lot of battery. And it had a bunch of space inside. And obviously, you can see with some other devices have a lot of app connectivity. So they have components like that. And then we did a survey some long time ago when we developed the ARC. And we asked people like how often they use their app because there's some dry vaporizers that use app. And what we found back then is that after the device comes and it's new and then people play with the app, set it up in the settings that they generally use, then they really don't go back to the app. Now, I don't know how the app game has changed in the last, let's say, 3 years. We're going to do another survey. I'm going to, let's say, share the information with
it's good now with stuff like the Switch mapping out the hit. That's probably going to be a big thing in the future. I think you're going to be able to do some stuff with that. The more I've used it, it's not exactly necessary. Not everybody's going to want it, but I don't know if there's another way to do it without the app other than putting a screen on it like that Da Vinci one. But yeah, I don't know.
you guys. If you're from the industry, you're probably very interested in that as well. Maybe you don't have access to thousands of respondents, so it's going to be good value for you.
Yeah.
I know some survey companies charge so much to get surveys done in the fast-moving consumer goods segment. So give some value back to the viewers. If you're a veteran, share this video. Okay, put some comment.
So I like this too. They're making videos, getting feedback.
So now you can see these batteries.
That means they're trying to make a better device. They don't just want to make a device that does it. They want to make a better one. They're asking for the feedback actively.
Again, are off the shelf. All right, and here they're attached to each other in sequence. You see. And you see that in the Puffco core as well. There's one board here. So this is a very important board because if something goes wrong with one of the cells, this thing will understand and isolate the batteries from the rest of the device.
Yeah, the blade work is crazy here.
Sensor for safety. I think that's a temperature sensor. Look at that. Look, it goes back here. So there's a temperature sensor. So if we sense the battery is getting above a certain degrees hot, and I think the Venti has a different type of system. If you want me to unpack the Venti for you guys, let me know. So if that gets above a certain temperature, this board will turn off access to the battery. It will isolate the battery. So maybe you're charging the battery or you're discharging the battery.
Interesting.
And it's just getting hot and then it starts becoming unstable because I have some news for you. Wow, my finger is burned. Guys, my fingers burned. Batteries routinely, there's a percentage
Dang, that
probability
sucks.
that they basically fail. Let's say it's 0.0001. I don't know what it is exactly, but it's very low. It's little safety bands that obviously the
It's keeping it
government
moving.
imported and used it. And obviously you see even with the Samsung Note when it first came out and the Galaxy, they had some.
I didn't know the batteries look like that.
Catch fire on planes, and even nowadays in planes. I mean, I was coming here from China, from Hong Kong, and it took my battery pack. So go to Hong Kong airport, YouTube, and dislike their videos. What's going on
He
here?
said go
I'll tell you a
dislike
little
their
bit
video.
more
Don't do
about
that.
The construction.
That he said go to their YouTube and dislike. That might low key be against YouTube's terms of service. Like, don't do that, chat. Hey.
We see things happen in real time. We're not
That
just
occurs, that kind of
manufacturer,
stuff.
We're also retailer. We have great relationships with these people. So many smart people. They talk
I know
to
he's
us.
joking, but like low key, the AI don't get jokes, bro. The AI doesn't get jokes. Hey,
This thing is a very key component if you look at it, and it's
What we got here?
important. This is at least what we did in terms of another safety mechanism. This is a catcher of any type of water or reclaim that may make it for whatever reason. Because you have wires going in there, there is no way but for multiple materials to clash from the plastic around the wire itself, this clasp down here. Let me see if it comes off. And the metal. Let me just open it up. If droplets come,
All
let's
kind of
say
wires.
every month there's half a drop that comes, but if you have the unit for 2 years, if it gets through, you start having that stuff drop on your components, and that is not a good thing. It's also not safe. We don't find safe. We didn't want to risk that kind of stuff. So you have a catcher, which basically
Interesting.
then the probability of problems happening goes to 0, right? Near 0, because everything is possible always, right? So now that you can
So
see
some
the
different amount
inside, here's the
wax from going
LEDs,
inside or water.
remember, on the bottom of this, and remember how I told you guys last time the core was really cool because they do really good LED work. So the cost of this unit is mostly based around the turbo spinner, the optionality of it, and the cloth. There's a price.
I feel like there's a better option than the turbo spinner too after testing it, but if that's most of the cost, because you're getting 2 of them with it, I feel like there's another way to do it then.
So the unit is high because this technology, this thing took a lot of time to develop. This one took a lot of time to develop. So a lot of it is R&D, people figuring out the technology, and then obviously you need to produce it at the magnitude that these companies that are in this rocket race, they want to actually do business with you. So all of those rack up in cost. You got to pay for many molds and so on and so forth. So that what gets the cost high because it's very unique proprietary technology. And then on the back of that, the device gets expensive, the upkeep cost becomes very low. On other devices, they charge you, let's say, compared to technology that is in the device, maybe they seem more reasonable, but then the upkeep cost is very high because, well, a bunch of the components that you would keep with this because they're more expensive to develop, you don't keep with those, so you got to keep rebuying. So this is just
Busted
a choice
wide
thing.
open
What is it that
E-rig.
you're comfortable with? Which one do you enjoy better? What looks better to you? Which one generates the type of vapor that you're happy with? Which one is more accurate? Or do you want to, let's say, spend more on upkeep? Maybe you don't use it that often, so your, let's say, heating chamber contraption would stay for you, I don't know, for like 6 months, 9 months, and 9 months maybe is a bit high, but like 6 months, and therefore you're okay with just having a more expensive heating chamber replacement. It's a choice thing, all right? So
It is a
this
choice.
is the end situation of the Utility Turbo. We're gonna keep that because as we go, we're going to have, let's say, things we want to compare to the other devices. Of course, there's a lot of fans of these 2 devices. If you want these broken apart, they both have like very cool ideas that maybe you want to know more about.
So they have a lot of rig teardown videos?
That some of the influencers, maybe not the top tier influencers like Dope and obviously Cewpins or those folks, Chrissy,
top
that
tier.
know stuff very well. They come here to get like detailed information because then based on their experience they can add color to it too. But you can see it. Remember last time I said if you have 3 contacts, you have temperature sensor. You can see it in the beautiful way they connect it to the base, very proprietary. So there's 1 contact on the side and then 3 contacts in the middle. There's 4, and here you can see it as well. There's 1 contact here. There's 2 orange ones in the middle. So you got 3 contacts as well. So these are ones, again, can be very interesting if we look into it. And give all these devices love. They're all friends of ours.
So as we went through it, now you understand there's a heating chamber technology, which gets into your maintenance costs, right? And then there's the air
Interesting.
intake, which is very important actually, because it can manage you concentrate in the heating chamber, so you get more instead of it splashing around, creating dirt that you have to clean or reclaim, right? So there's multiple different ways to do air intake. So you saw the different technologies on the heating side. So we got induction, we got these buckets, we got glass buckets, we got the complexities there. So every time there's a design decision that's what they want to tackle, it brings some limitations with it, some trade-offs, and also some advantages. So as we go through this, you're going to get more color on the components. If you're an influencer, if you're in the industry, if you're someone that works in a store, another CEO of, I don't know, a website that does different types of content or whatever, you can use this to add color to your understanding.
Okay.
So we get more, let's say, information out there to the people that care about the devices actually.
This is good.
You may be a developer of products and you may have some cool ideas. We're already thinking about putting electro motors to do that for you, the spinning, but that will obviously increase the cost. So sometimes we're not stuck at how advanced and premium we can make a unit. We're kind of a little stuck at also the amount of spending you can do, right? Because then a device comes out like this one, and the glass is not here anymore, so we're gonna top there to there. Thank you very much. Again, I'm getting support actually here from reinforcements. So this is what makes the same looking device more expensive than the other ones, and you can pack a little pieces of technology in there that does basically drive up the price. But at some point, what's gonna happen is the influencer that crushed us is back, likes the device, but doesn't like the price, for example. And what happens there is this time I'm gonna be a little bit faster with responding. So now we are going to make some changes to that. So we're gonna go into a, let's say, lower price bracket, all right? And kind of appease this, do our chess move a little bit more in real time than last time where it took us 6 months, 6 to 8 months, I think, before we came up with the V2. So with that said,
nice.
I recommend anybody that did a video, all the influencers.
So that was I guess one of the last things I said about it is like it's decent, right? They definitely improved on their old version of the worst device I ever used. They have a new version of it that is good, but like also I've hit a bunch of stuff now that has a way cheaper price tag than they started with. So it's like, okay, but we got the rip sound, but now it's like you got to make it cheaper because there's so many other options. If they're already spending that, get a one-hit wonder, get a Peak Pro or something, you know. If you're already spending 400.
Go check out their stuff, especially Cewpins. He's a quite an interesting character. We actually love watching his stuff. We just get crushed by it once. Give Nick some love on his last video. Obviously, I'm going to beat him on the number of comments. All right.
Hey, yo.
So I told him let's taunt each other. So let's see what taunt he comes up with. This is a comedian. I mean, like I'm kind of like a businessman, let's call it, or a regular dude that does dab testing.
Nice.
Yeah, so go spread the love. Thank you very much for staying with me here today. In the comments, make sure you thumbs up the next device you want me to tear apart. If you want more strategic inside information, product development information, component information,
outro stuff.
How we do HR, how we internally
you made it to this point.
other, company culture, I don't know, business drama, patent shenanigans. Willa, the office dog, sits there and is getting pets from the camera lady.
Yo.
Totally distracting. We're supposed to finish this video anyway. Thank you very much.
Wrap it up.
And for all you connoisseurs out there, keep tearing shit down for science. I don't know what to say. What do you want me to say? Oh, and for all you connoisseurs out there, see you in the next one. Also, sorry about the whole clickbaity title and the lawyer thing, but you're here. You're still here. You should press the stop button, but I know you watch YouTube like I do. You just let it play. Didn't even matter this was a good quality video. You still watch it.
Easy.
Good, thank you.
Hell yeah. No, that was dope.